Hey y'all, Xander Kai here. Today we will be going over the 2018 Soccer Cup event. This event runs from June 14th until July 16th, so you have just over a month to do it. It is going to be 65 quests long. 33 of these quests will be the main quest line. 32 of the quests will be on the daily quest line. You must complete all 33 of the main quest line quests before moving on to the daily quest. The great news is the daily quests do stack. So if it takes you a week to get through the main quest line, you can do that first full week of daily quests on the day you get there. Again, you can't move further ahead, but you can get caught up. What are we playing for? We're playing for energy drinks. We use the energy drinks to pass a soccer ball from one player to another and eventually score goals. We have 3 different players we can always pass to. You can click on the question mark above their head to see what their possible prizes are. Eventually, you'll score a goal and get different rewards. The main building for this event is going to be your Tholos of Idols. It can be upgraded up to 10 times. It stays a 4x4 the entire way. As you see, the very end product is quite good for forge points, 64 medals, 15 random goods, and a little over 13,000 supplies in the progressive era. So worth playing for. With the quests, I will not be going over the daily quests today because they have not been finished on beta testing. I will only be going over the main quest line, and I will link the timestamps for each individual quest at the bottom of the video. So on to the quest. Quest number 1 will be spend some forge points. In this world, it was 7. My previous world, or my other world, it was 6. So it should be somewhere between 5 and 10. A full forge point bar will help out a lot with this. Also note here, if this is the start of your day, do not harvest, do not harvest, do not harvest, as you will need to collect gold and goods in just a couple of quests. Quest number 2 is motivate or polish buildings of 40 players. You can do this through your friends, your guild member, your neighbors, or your guild members. Just realize that while you're doing this, it is simply not aid 40 players. It is motivate or polish 40 buildings. So if I actually visit the person, I can make sure that I'm not aiding or motivating a decoration. I still would rather go through and click on random people until I'm able to accomplish this. But make sure you don't go through all your friends and neighbors, as you will need to fight some neighbors later on, and you will need to motivate and polish again later on. All right, so sorry y'all, my computer just froze. Quest number 3 is going to be build 4 decorations. It does not specify that these need to be from your age, so you can scroll all the way back to the Stone Age, pick out one of these wonderful trees, pop it down, and do this 4 times. You can immediately delete them before they're even built. This will satisfy the 4 decorations, and now you must gather some coins. My other world, a full harvest was not good enough to satisfy the coin requirement, so you might have to do this 2 times. In this world, it happened right away, so I got to move right along. Quest 4 is in a production building, finish the shortest production option 20 times. This should be the 5-minute options. You can do this on production buildings that you've unlocked through research, or buildings that you've gotten along the way through events and quests, such as your Gondola Dot Market, or your Orchard, or your Vincent van Gogh quest building. So any of these will work. I would suggest having at least 10 of them. If you've got 10 of them, you set them all for 5 minutes, and then end it, reset them all for 5 minutes. It will take a total of 10 minutes for you to get through this part of the quest. You can also use blacksmiths to do this, and then once you're done, you can simply go back and delete them. They take about 20 to 30 minutes to build, and they don't take up much space, population, don't cost much gold or supplies, so that's an easy way to help accomplish this quest. Quest number 5 will be recruit 3 units from your age or from the previous age. If you are a fighter and have military buildings, you might just be able to harvest those buildings and get your troops. If you're not, you will go to your guild expedition, and on the guild expedition, there will be 4 troop chests on the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd levels. They will always be the chest directly before a golden conquest. So any of these fancy temples you see on an island, it will always be the chest right before that. On level 1, they'll contain 1 troop, level 2, 2 troops, and level 3, 3 troops. So there'll be 4 of them on each level. You can see that this one right here is still yet to be unlocked, and that will contain 2 troops inside of it. This is an easy way to go through and collect these troops. Just make sure you have not gone too far ahead in the guild expedition, and make sure you don't go too far ahead after this, as you will need to use this strategy later on to collect more troops. You might also get troops through a daily quest, through a hidden relic, or through a story quest. I'm not sure that you're going to get them that way, so the guild expedition or actually having troop buildings is your best option. Quest number 6. Visit 15 taverns or spend 20 forge points. Visiting taverns should be pretty easy if you have friends. Simply go through, click on their tavern, and that will satisfy the quest if you do this 15 times. You also have to buy 3 forge points. You will be buying a lot of forge points as we go along. If you don't know how, we simply click on the little plus sign next to our forge point bar, and we select buy a forge point. They do go up in price as you go along, so make sure that you do keep a surplus of gold. Okay, keep going. Quest 8 is acquire 3 sectors without fighting, or negotiate 5 encounters in the guild expedition. So if we've moved quite far in our guild expedition, we might choose not to do this, as we're going to use it to get more troops later on. But also remember that you don't want to go too far ahead on your map. So really balance whichever one of these is a better option for you. To do it on the map, we simply click on a sector, and we hit negotiate down in the bottom right corner. Once we negotiate, we will satisfy this part of the quest, and we will be good to go. All right. Quest number 9. Build 1 cultural building from your age or 2 from the previous age. Actually, you know what, y'all? I'll just go through and do this as we're going along. I need to complete this entire thing, so here we go. And we will simply go collect our reward and move along. So build 1 cultural building from your age or 2 from the previous age. Easiest way to do this is go down to your cultural building and make sure you have a little plot of land open, pop it down, and then immediately delete it. And it will still count as your cultural building from this age or the other age. Now, in terms of collecting the goods, we have 3 different options. 1, we can wait for our guild goods buildings to finish. 2nd, we can go to the marketplace and we can accept offers from different people. So we can do this pretty quickly, and that completes that part of the quest. The other thing we could do is do a guild trade swap, where we set up, it was 130 goods, I believe. 130 goods. We go to our market, we set up a trade for half the amount. So in this case, that would be 65 goods, and 65 goods, we make the trade, and then we simply reverse the trade. And then we go to one of our guild members, and we pop both of these inside of the message, like so, and like so. Then if he accepts both of these, I will immediately get my goods back, and it will transfer, it will count all 130 goods that we needed for the quest. I have a video on that. If that was pretty quick for you, go on and actually watch the video that I've posted before, and it might help you out. All right, quest number 10 will be spend 450 tavern silver in the Friend's Tavern, or spend 15 forge points. spending tavern silver, I would suggest actually going on and buying a quick boost that lasts 15 minutes. As you can see, it immediately completes that part for you. Now we have to gather 60,000 supplies and spend 19 forge points. So we might have to wait a little while on those 60,000 supplies as our production buildings finish. So we'll move along for this. Quest number 12 will be in a production building, finish the shortest production option 10 times, and defeat 30 units or acquire 2 sectors without fighting. So again, we could go back to that map and we could acquire sectors this way by simply negotiating to acquire. Or we can go through and we can actually fight neighbors, or we can fight through the conquest map to defeat 30 units. I have a video that I will attach here that will show you how to do this without losing troops, taking a territory, or without having to fight your neighbors. But I will actually attach that video for y'all. Moving right along will be recruit 4 units. This does not specify that they have to be units from your age. So you can go back to the start of the game and you can pick out one of these early age buildings. I will actually pick out 2 of them. I'll pop them down and it's going to take me 30 minutes to build these. And then I'll just do 2 trips very quickly in both of these. That way I'm not using steps on my guild expedition. Not using steps on my guild expedition. Doesn't cost me much, and these troops are produced a lot quicker than they are the ones from my actual age. Quest 14. Motivate or polish 30 buildings of other players, and in a production building, finish 4-hour productions 10 times. So at this point, set all your production buildings to 4 hours, and set all your production buildings to 4 hours. Come back and harvest them once you're done. And sorry, y'all, I've lost my place. And motivate or polish 30 buildings. Again, you have to make sure that your neighbor is actually having their building polished and not a decoration. And you'll have to do this at least one other time, so you might be running out of friends to motivate and polish. So don't do it to everybody. Just do it enough until you actually satisfy this part of the quest. All right, next up will be to Quest 15, solve 5 encounters in the GE, or in a production building, finish 24-hour productions 5 times. If you only get on once a day, you can go ahead and set your buildings to that 24-hour production period, come back tomorrow, and this will be complete. Or you can go through your guild expedition. The thing to watch out for here is not to go too far ahead, or you will not be able to use the guild expedition to get troops later on. You'll have to wait till next Tuesday to do this. So complete personal preference. I'm personally going to use the guild expedition to do this and get my troops later on from level 3. Okay, quest number 16. Build 1 production building from your age or 2 from the previous age. Again, I like to keep that little open plot of land. I would simply take a production building, pop it down in that space, and immediately delete it. That will satisfy this part of the quest. The other option is, if you don't have the space, you can delete an existing production building and pop a new one down in its place. Do note that these have to be from your age or the previous age. And then you also have to buy 5 forge points. Quest 17. In production buildings, finish 8-hour productions 8 times. So hopefully we have at least those 10 production buildings. Simply set 8 of them for 8 hours, and we are done here. Quest 18. Collect 750 tavern silver or buy 8 forge points. Before I set those 8-hour productions, I'll make sure not to harvest my tavern. By those time those 8 hours are up, hopefully my tavern is full. I simply hit collect, and I am done with this part of the quest. You can also go ahead and buy 8 forge points if you would like to do this. Some of you don't have very large taverns yet, so collecting that much tavern silver might take you a little bit of time. Quest 19. spend some forge points, and in a production building, finish the shortest production option 20 times. We've seen this before. Again, we'll just click on the production building, hit that 5-minute time period. If we have 10 of them, it will take 10 minutes total, and we are done with this part. Quest 20. Win 8 battles or donate 250 goods to the guild treasury. If you have a surplus of goods, simply go over to your guild treasury, click on the good you have a lot of, put in 250, and you can go ahead and donate. One thing about this is that it does not specify if it has to be from your age or the age before. So if you have a bunch of cloth from the beginning of the game, you can go ahead and donate 250 cloth. It will count just the same as a good from your age. Winning 8 battles, you can do this by fighting your neighbors. You can do this by using conquests or through the GE. I would recommend actually paying the supplies or paying the goods. But if you are a fighter, go ahead and fight some of your neighbors. Don't use your easiest targets, though. You will need these for 2 different quests here in a little bit. All right, moving right along. We also have to pay some coins. Again, you should have a surplus of these. All you'll have to do is click the little box that says pay here. Quest 21. Motivate or polish 40 buildings of other players. Where have we seen this before? Same thing as before. Maybe this is the next day for you. So you've got another 40 players that you've already done it before. Motivate or polish the day before that you can repolish. Otherwise, hopefully you have some friends and some neighbors left. Quest 22, gather some goods. Again, you can use that reverse trade swap. You can use the marketplace, or you can use your goods buildings to do this. Go back and look at the earlier steps if you're unsure on this. Quest 23 will be... and you have to gain some happiness. Gaining happiness is extremely easy to do, especially if you have a Temple of Relics. Over time, you should have gotten these ridiculous Face of Ancients and Gate of the Sun God. If you can click on these, you can see they give you 400 population, and they take 5 seconds to build. So what I do is I would take a space, pop one down, wait for it to build, immediately delete it, pop another one down, immediately delete, until I've gained enough happiness to satisfy this part of the quest. So easy way to do this is going to inventory and using your Face of Ancients or Gates of the Sun God. If you're not this far in the game yet, then you can go ahead and you can go back and build either basic decorations or early cultural buildings. And again, simply wait for it to build and then delete. Wait for it to build and delete. I would recommend doing decorations because your cultural buildings do take quite a bit longer to build. Okay, Quest 23. In production buildings, finish 1 hour productions 15 times. We've seen this before. We have to buy another 5 forge points. So just racking up the cost per forge point. Quest 24. Win 3 battles without losing in between or in production buildings. Finish 8-hour productions sometimes. So we don't know how many times we have to finish these 8-hour productions. We simply know that that is an option. If you've gone through and battled neighbors before, you probably know a couple players that have weaker armies. We simply hit attack, go in, beat them in battle, and hopefully you have 3 players you could do this to. Because they are in a row, one option you do have is to go to your tavern shop, to scroll down to your attack boost, and activate a 30-minute one. It only costs you $7.50, and you get a 10% boost. Another thing you can do is go to your inventory, and if you have attack boost in your inventory, you can use this as well. You'll have to fight some more players in just a couple of steps, so this might not be a bad option. So next up will be Quest 25, which is activate 2 boosts in your friend's tavern or win 4 battles in a row without losing. If you've already activated boosts, you can simply go through and keep fighting people and defeat 4 more players in a row. If you did not activate a boost, easiest way to do this is to actually go through and select an extra turn. Wait 15 minutes and select an extra turn again, and you will complete this part. Quest 26 will be build 6 decorations. Again, we can go over, scroll all the way back to the Stone Age, pick our trees, put our trees down, do this 6 times, and we have completed this part of the quest. Quest 27, and we gather some supplies. Gathering supplies, you'll have to wait for a harvest or an event building, collect incidents, whatever it might be, but you'll take a little time here to gather supplies. Again, you can use that strategy I mentioned earlier about building a building and then immediately turning around and selling it, and you will get a minimal amount of gold and coins back. So if you're really impatient, you can do it this way, although it will cost you some gold and some supplies as you'll lose it along the way. All right, continuing on, Quest 27, motivate or polish 30 buildings of other players and spend some forge points. We've seen this before, don't need to go over it again, but hopefully you have friends and neighbors left. Quest 28, finish 15 productions in the production building from your age or 20 from the previous age. This is different than the previous requirements, as it does require these productions to be from your age or a previous age. If you saw earlier, I had those little blacksmiths out, and I deleted them. Those blacksmiths can usually be used to complete productions. However, this one requires that they actually be from your age. So in my case, the progressive era or the industrial era would work. If I'm doing them from the industrial era, I would actually have to do all 20 on industrial era buildings or all 15 on progressive era buildings. Quest 29, recruit 3 units from your age or 4 from the previous age. Again, the guild expedition is an excellent way of doing this, especially if you're on level 3, where one of the troop chests will give you all 3 units. Quest 30. Visit 12 taverns or motivate or polish 50 buildings of other players. Either way, you're going to have to use your friends list or your neighbors list to do this. And hopefully you have some players left. All right, we're almost done with the main quest line. We are going to be Quest 31 in a production building. Finish 8-hour productions 10 times. So 10 production buildings, just set them all for 8 hours. Hopefully you can do this when you finish your last harvest. Wait 8 hours and then you are good to go. Also, you're going to have to pay some supplies, but you should have a surplus of these. Quest 32, build a goods building from your age or recruit 5 units. So in my age, you can see these goods buildings do get rather large. I don't have a 3x7 space right now. So what I would do is I would actually just delete this current goods building, pop one right back up in its place. In about 16 hours, it will be done. And then I will have a fully up and running goods building again. And the last step on your main quest line will be gather some goods and buy 5 forge points. Once we do this, we get a pretty little picture of a soccer striker and a soccer fan, and we will get 1350 energy drinks. So we gather some goods and buy 5 forge points. Again, use a reverse trade swap, use the marketplace, or use your goods buildings to complete this. That will do it for the main quest line. As soon as you finish this, you can jump into the daily quests. One quick thing to note on that is Quest 44 will require you to scout a province, so make sure you do have one available to scout. Anyways, y'all, I hope this answered some questions. If you have any questions, comments, please don't hesitate to ask. Add me in S-World or N-World if you're playing. The player name is Zandar Kai. Sorry this is pretty long-winded and that I'm doing this so late. Anyways, have a great day, and Zandar Kai out.